Well, I have put together a presentation for you on long-term care insurance, and I'm joined by a guest speaker to assist me in presenting this topic to you. But when I put it all together, I realized it's quite a long presentation, and in order to make it not so overwhelming and put it into more digestible pieces, I decided to break it out into 5 separate videos. So the first video is going to give you general information on long-term care, in addition to statistics that you'll need to determine whether you need long-term care insurance for your retirement planning. The next 4 videos will be your options for long-term care insurance, and that would include self-insuring the risk, traditional long-term care, asset-based long-term care, and traditional life insurance with a long-term care rider. So you can see how it can get quite overwhelming all in one video. So just as a reminder, my name is Darlene Hartman, and I'm a CPA and financial planner with Money Concepts. For weekly retirement planning and annuity advice, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so that you can receive notices when I post a new video. So let's get started. Well, I have been promising you that we would talk about long-term care. So today is the day. And I have invited a guest speaker, Jay Robinson, who is an independent insurance consultant with InSource, to help me provide you information on long-term care. So I talk to Jay anytime I have a client with specific long-term care needs, because he has that direct relationship with the insurance carriers and know the pre-qualifications that are needed for each long-term care product. So on that note, I'm going to introduce Jay Robinson of InSource and let him take the presentation from here. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning. Thank you, Darlene. Hey, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me and the opportunity. As Darlene mentioned, I am a consultant working behind the scenes with Darlene and financial advisors all over the country. My firm has relationships with 20 to 30 different insurance carriers and multiple products with each carrier. So we can help line up the right type of product for the right type of need. But what I've found in my 20 years of experience is, especially as it relates to long-term care, many people don't understand all the options that are available to them, what different types of products and what different types of features. So what I'd like to do today is spend some time walking through the 4 options that you have available to prepare for long-term care. So you've probably seen this analogy before, but what is the goal with mountain climbing? And most people say that the goal is to get to the top, but the real goal is not just the climb, it's also the descent. And I saw a number, I like being outdoors, I study it a lot, but I saw a number that said in regards to all the people that have climbed Mount Everest and ultimately those that have died climbing Mount Everest, 56% of all deaths are actually on the way back down.
Wow.
So we put all of our planning into the climb up, but we don't plan adequately to make the descent back down. Retirement and retirement planning is much the same. We put so much focus on getting to that retirement age. We put so much focus on saving and planning so that we can retire at the right point. But we need to put a lot of focus on the descent in retirement and what could go wrong in retirement so that we can plan appropriately today to make sure that that descent goes as we hope. So what are the 4 issues that could potentially affect the descent down, the retirement? The first, having enough income. And these are annual studies that you can find on the internet of retirees, that what are the 4 issues that we're concerned with in retirement. The first one is always having enough income. The second, low interest rate environment. If I have a portfolio, will the interest rate environment allow me to still draw the income and savings that I need? The third and 4th one kind of go together: medical expenses and extended health care costs. We're going to focus today on that extended health care cost component of the 4 issues. So what exactly is extended health care? It is simply another retirement expense that can cause income needs to increase. We plan ahead to have X amount of income per year in retirement, and that's going to meet our needs. Extended health care is simply another expense that will cause that income need to increase each year. It's also referred to as custodial care. But keep in mind, extended health care, long-term care is not necessarily nursing home care. And we're going to get into that in 1 second. Extended health care is simply requiring assistance to do 2 of the 6 activities of daily living or severe cognitive impairment. And we will get into those 2 of the 6 activities of daily living shortly. And the fourth item, most individuals, when they think of long-term care, they do think of that nursing home, as we just looked at in point 2. But most people prefer to be in their home receiving care, and planning ahead and putting a long-term care insurance policy in place can help generate that income stream to allow you to receive the care that you need in your home. So as I mentioned, long-term care is more than just a nursing home care. Long-term care is intended to provide support to those that as soon as you need 2 of 6, as soon as you meet the requirement for 2 of 6 activities of daily living. This just means that your physician says of these 6 ADLs, you do need assistance with at least 2 of them. And you can see what the list is here. Long-term care solutions can help pay for any level of care. Again, it's not just nursing home. It can help pay for home health care. It can help pay for caregiving, care coordination. It can help pay for adult daycare. It can pay for assisted living, and ultimately nursing home and hospice care. There are a lot of statistics here. You can do your own research. Go to Google, type in long-term care statistics. Some of you have probably already done this. These are statistics that have jumped out to me when I do it. I'm going to talk about statistics in a second, because while it's important to know some of these, I think it's important to also know that we shouldn't just focus on these. So some of the statistics that you might see out there, and these are done each year and made public, is that 7 out of 10 people age 65 or older will need some form of extended long-term care assistance in their lifetime. 7 out of 10. The question I get often, well, if we do need to go to a nursing home, how long is the average stay? And for women, it's 3.7 years. For men, it's 2.2 years. I'm going to highlight the next one, the number of people providing unpaid care in 2015. So the stats a little bit old, but 41 million people provided unpaid care for family members in 2015. We'll get to that in a second. The concern that we've seen increase over the years is dementia, Alzheimer's, and what can that do to care? The average length of LTC event for someone with an Alzheimer's diagnosis, 8 years. So if we plan for just the 2 or 3 years and we come down with a cognitive impairment, we may need care for double what we've planned for. And we're going to look at that in a second. And I've also included median costs at the bottom of the page. Now these are nationwide costs. What I want to highlight here, averages are great, but averages aren't everything. An average just means that 50% of people are lower than that and 50% of people are higher than that. So it might be good to plan for an average, but we need to also plan what if I need more than average. And I want to take a second to take a look at some of those more than average statistics. So the question, we saw the stats on the last page of what the average statistics are in the United States. And that takes everything from New York to Alaska and everything in between. But what I like to focus on, there are many calculators out there that can drive down exactly to where you live. The one I'm sharing on this screen that Darlene is putting at the bottom as well, this is with One America. One America is one of the largest long-term care insurance writers in the industry. But this is something, they're not the only one. And what I'd like to focus on now, since many of you are housed in Colorado, is let's look at the current costs for the different various types of care in Colorado. The neat thing about these calculators, you may be in Colorado now, but you may want to retire here in Indiana, where I am, and you can go in and see what the different costs of care. And I think it's important as you plan your retirement, as you know where you want to be, to factor in that cost of care where you're going to end up being. So in Colorado specifically, the average cost of care last year, these numbers are current for all types of care, are $76,140. You can click on and see what the types of informal care, which was about $70,000 last year. Home care, about $5,500 a month. Assisted living and the nursing home. We talk about 2 or 3 years as the average. The price of nursing home in Colorado last year was just over $110,000. What I like about these different calculators is that is a state average. You can drive down specifically to your location, as many of these calculators have different locations within every state. Here in Indiana, we have Indianapolis and southern and lower parts. But the other neat thing is, we may be 10 years from retirement. We may be 20 years away before a potential long-term care claim, potential long-term care expense. So these costs today are good to know, but we really need to, as we do our retirement planning and plan and prepare for long-term care, we need to have an idea of what these costs will be in the future. These calculators, you can forecast ahead, and this is using the average cost of increases that we've seen over the last few years, as well as inflation, to show you what the projected costs will be in the future. So for example, maybe we're 55 and planning today, and we want to be prepared for a care event that might be 20 years down the road. Year 2021 is not as important as what is the projected cost in year 2041. And as you can see, nursing home, based on the current trend over the last decade, the cost of 1 year in a nursing home in 20 years could be upwards of $250,000 for 1 year. This is why it's important not just to look at the stats today, but forecast ahead, project ahead for what those might be when we need them. So the other thing we need to keep in mind is not just what are the average costs of care per year, but we've seen what the average stay in a nursing home and what people commonly think of as how many years will I need long-term care. What you see here, this is an interview of 7 of the largest long-term care insurance carriers in the industry done back in 2019. And the question was, for both men and women, what is your current longest as well as most expensive claim for male and female? And you can see what the lists are here. So for someone, let's look at number 1. The longest claim right now for a male is just over 14 years, and the total cost is $2.2 million. We had only planned for, go back to the statistics, 2.7 years of care, because that's what men on average need. We would have severely been underprepared for what long-term care actually did for us in our portfolio. So I think it's important to keep those average statistics in mind, but this is a good representation of statistics aren't everything. We need to plan for these scenarios that could have happened like this. And with that, Darlene, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Jay, for taking this time. The presentation was very enlightening and informative, and I appreciate you spending this time with me. And if you're interested in obtaining long-term care, no matter which option that we discussed today, be sure to click the link below to apply to become my client. And also, don't forget, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your family and friends. Let's get the conversation started on how you can live your best retirement while not outliving your money.